Hello, David. Welcome to DataCube's Killer Questions. Thank you for joining me today. So first of all, could you just explain what you do and tell us how you got into data and AI?
Yeah, it's a long and winding journey. I started out more in the linguistics universe, so the development of latent semantics and forensic linguistics to optimize teaching programs, and we realized that we could teach according to yield. So rather than taking a purely kind of academic understanding of how to sort of interact with subject matter, we realized that you could teach according to logarithmic returns on every next thing you learned. And that got me into the statistical side of things. And statistics is about this far away from data science and statistics ultimately are what machine learning are built on. So it was a slow progression from kind of linguistics into the sort of deeper and deeper application of linguistics, and very quickly machine learning and kind of deep learning became a far more sensible way to approach more long-standing concepts. So yeah, linguistics was my gateway into this whole universe.
Excellent. Great. Thank you, David. And what do you see as the biggest data and AI challenges facing organizations in the next 12 months or so?
I think there's two. So one is the fact that the vast majority of functions are not auditable. So that it's a very difficult thing for large, low risk companies to actually implement in a meaningful way. So we've found that a lot of the sort of Gen AI solutions have ended up getting stuck more in sort of knowledge recall rather than in terms of deeper strategy or deeper commercial implications. So I think that's a major roadblock is getting to use cases that deliver more value than a more like kind of chatbot style interaction, and people have got stuck in that space. And then the second problem is around the politics of change. So the biggest problem with some of the capabilities that we've been working on with people is the fact that it fundamentally challenges current status quo, current processes, human first processes that suddenly need to be revisited. How do you integrate something that's thinking at 8 billion parameters instead of, eight, for example? And it actually fundamentally it forces business transformation, and it's forcing expedited business transformation. So I think the biggest thing we see is actually it's the politics of change that are the biggest barriers to successful implementation rather than the technology itself. I think people have started to understand that the technologies are viable, and they are far more willing to embrace statistics and data-led process, but the fundamentals of the company need to catch up with the current sort of willingness or desire to actually implement.
Great. Thank you, David. And what about the opposite side of this then? What do you see as the biggest data and AI opportunities facing organizations in the next 12 months?
Um, I think that it's an opportunity and a threat. I think the first companies to implement will have such a competitive advantage that the companies that haven't adopted won't know what's happened to their markets. So we work in the insurance industry, for example, and it took us 4 hours to develop a model that was able to discern risks that had been previously undetectable. And in a market such as the Lloyd's market, for example, the ability to discern risk better than your competitors very quickly turns into pricing advantage, for example. And the scary thing for those who don't take it on is they won't know why suddenly their competitors are undercutting them by 20%. And so there's an opportunity, but there's also a kind of threat in it if you're not fast enough. So one of the things we're saying that's changing a little bit is there's an appreciation that it's now an arms race. And there's a certain it's not just a nice to have anymore. It's the fact that there's a fundamental strategic requirement to make these technologies happen and happen fast.
That's really interesting. I love that concept of the arms race. I'm definitely going to be stealing that from you, David. And yeah, as you say, that's exciting and motivating, but also terrifying as well for all of us, right? Because there's the pace of change is so frightening.
Yes, very much so.
Great. Thank you, David. And last question, the most important one. Do you have a data or AI joke for us?
I did. I've got to read it from my screen a minute, but why did why did the AI model hire a statistician? Because it
I
wanted
don't know,
someone.
David.
Thank you so much. Because it wanted someone who could look at incomprehensible results and say that makes perfect sense.
Do you know that's one of the best ones? So thank you very
Love
much. Yay.
it.
Well done, you. Thank
Fabulous.
you ever so much, David. Really great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for your time.
Thank you very much.